Hello, loves. Good morning. How are you feeling? Happy Wednesday. So it looks as though YouTube might not be functioning for us. We'll let it roll. We'll see what happens. How are you feeling? Good morning. Happy Wednesday. So I have two things I want to talk to you about today. I entitled this episode, mind blank. I entitled this episode okay, wait 1 second.
Recording in progress.
There we go. I entitled this episode, This Is What You Have to Do. So there's a couple of things that have been really coming top of mind for me lately, and I want to share with you. So I want to talk to you all about ownership and the thing that you're doing and the thing that you have to do if you ever want to graduate from this level of life. Those of you who are on YouTube right now, let me know, can you see me? Because the screen for me is blank and I can't tell. So I want to talk about ownership because I'm meeting with my mastermind today, and our topic of the month is ownership. What are you? We're just going to dive right in because my mind is already there. You can see me. Great. Thank you. What do you need to take ownership in? Okay, vague question, right? Like real vague question. But here's how I want you to perceive this. Where are you blaming anything in your life? What are you blaming? Where are you blaming? Who are you blaming for anything in your life? Just do a little quick life scan. What am I blaming currently right now? Now, here's what's a really funny thing, because I did this for myself, and the answer I got was myself. I'm blaming myself. Okay, but we're going to get real inception-y here for a second. If I'm blaming myself for something in my life not going the way that I want it to go, fantastic, great. That is much more powerful than blaming something or someone else. But it's still a projection, isn't it? It's still a projection on a past version of you. I should have done this. I should have. You're blaming a past version of you. Okay, stick with me. Lacey said that was my first instinct also. In blaming a past version of myself, am I currently taking ownership for it right here, right now? Oh, no. So look at this. Whatever I'm blaming, I'm projecting energy outside of myself, even if I'm blaming a past version of me. If I'm blaming my past decisions, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, blah, blah, blah. I could go on for days, right? But in doing that, what it inevitably ends up creating is you not taking ownership for what you actually want right here, right now. Isn't that incredible? So what do you need to take ownership for? Now, I love this, and I love because we can go in 18 different directions. But I want you to think about it like in different sections. What are you blaming? And that's what you need to take ownership for, right? Like if something's not going right in your life right now, what am I blaming in that? And where do I need to take ownership over it? Like if I positioned myself as everything in my reality is my fault, everything's my fault, everything, then that puts me in a position to say, what would I prefer? And this is where it starts to get really powerful. What would I prefer, actually? Because when we're blaming, we're hanging out in the energy of problem, right? And the energy of solution does not live on the same street as the energy of problem. When you're in problem, you're just like in a dryer tumbling around in the problem. There's no availability for solution in that. It's like, I got to fix this. 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 There's nothing there. And it's just because you're asking the wrong question. You're asking, how do I fix this? Rather than, what would I prefer? What would I prefer to create? It's a totally different energy. So where are you blaming? That's number one. And then, and here's where it gets real, real juicy. What in your gifts, what in your talents, what in your power are you not taking ownership over? Now, this is something, this is words. It can be sneaky, it can be hidden, or it can be right in front of your face. Where are you not taking ownership for what you know? Where are you not taking ownership for what you are a complete and total expert in? Where are you not taking ownership for what you're good at? Where are you not owning it? You feel me on this? So I have a client and she is so talented, but she, like most of us, has that part of her that second guesses, that feels that like insecurity, like other people are probably better than me at this. So talented. And in our coaching over the last couple of months, she's made this shift where she started saying, I realized that, like, yeah, there's probably other people who are really good at this, but what I've been able to do is really impressive. What I'm capable of is really impressive. What I can do is really impressive. This shift of ownership for her gifts, her talents, what she can bring to the world. So, where are you not owning what you're actually pretty freaking good at? You feel me on this? Okay, so now let's think about this, because one of the only main reasons that we don't take ownership for things is because we fear what is going to happen once we get past that point of the problem. Let me say it differently. You're living in a comfort zone with your problem. Okay. Oh my gosh, Instagram with the hearts. You're living in a comfort zone. So I picture it like a target, like a target with, okay, all right, Instagram, target. You're living in a circle of your comfort zone. You and your problem are here. Okay. You and that thing that's constantly reoccurring for you are right here in the middle. The only reason that we don't take ownership over what we're experiencing in our life, slash what our actual power, gifts, talents, expertise is because we fear what will happen outside of that comfort zone. So even though you may not like the revolving circumstance, the problem that's happening with you right now, you have relationship with it and it is benefiting you in some way. Now, the benefit is not ultimately good. The benefit is that you get to stay in your little cozy comfort zone. But the detriment is that you don't ever actually get to find out who you really are and what you're here to do. So the second part of this, first part's ownership, second part of this is you have to be willing to expand into that new level of growth. When I say growth, I mean there's going to be a new set of challenges that come online for you. You guys with me? Are you following me on this? Because in the comfort zone of the problem that you're currently experiencing, it's very familiar. Do you understand? Like, it's very familiar. You know what the problem is. You know the feelings and emotions that happen here. You know the frustrations. You know what to expect. It's familiar. And if you're not careful, you will unconsciously sabotage yourself from ever leaving it simply because it's familiar. You following? So here's what you got to do. I am willing to step in to the new level of growth. I'm willing to experience new challenges. I'm willing to go to a new level of life where I know I'm going to experience things I've not experienced before. I'm willing to accept that. Here's the metaphor I want you to think about. You guys ever been surfing? I've not. I've not been surfing. It terrifies me. I don't want to do it at all. But when you learn how to surf, they have you stay in the tide for a time being, and you're getting whipped by the incoming waves. You are in the most tumultuous part of the ocean where the wave is breaking. So much happening. Oh my God. It's too much, right? It's hitting you in the face over and over and over again, and it does not stop. You do not get to the next level of challenge, which is learning to stand up on your board and ride the wave, unless you are willing to go all the way through that tumultuous part of the wave. But what do most people do? Most people hit that tumultuous part of the wave and they're like, blah, blah, and they come right back to what's comfortable. Then they hit that tumultuous part of the wave, they don't like it, they come right back to what's comfortable. When the way is going all the way through the wave, I'm willing to go through this, leave it alone because you're never going to calm the ocean down, and go all the way through to the new level where I'm going to have to learn to stand up. You guys follow me on this? When you experience any repeating circumstance, it is always because you are unwilling to go to the next level of growth. Now, with that said, we're talking big concepts here, right? There are things you've got to learn 100%. But maybe you already learned them. And what you're really doing is just keeping yourself in the exact same familiar lesson so that you don't have to expand into the unknown, so that you don't have to experience new. Who here has had the same repeating circumstance where you're just like, oh my God, why is this happening again, right? Or maybe you're not even that conscious of it. You might just be living the same year over and over and over again in your life. Same problems in your marriage, same problems in your bank account, same problems in your career, same problems in your self-confidence. You see what I'm saying? Ever said, not me? Nope, never. You're having the exact same scenario happen over and over and over again, not because you've done something wrong, not because you're doomed in any way, but because you've been unwilling to graduate. What a concept. So where do you need to take ownership? Well, first and foremost, I need to take ownership around I have been purposefully keeping myself in the exact same spot. Oh, that hits you in the gut, doesn't it? You're like, oh my God, what do you mean? It's my fault, Marley. Like, get out of here. No, truly it is though. And you have to see it like that. Because if you don't see it like that, congratulations, have fun another year doing the exact same shit. I mean, I love you guys so much. But you see what I'm saying? We have to see it like that. I am the one. I'm the one who is keeping myself stuck here. I'm the one who is deciding to do another loop in the same problem. You have to take that level of ownership. Because if you don't, then who does? Somebody else keeping you where you're at? No. Everything comes back to your own choices. Everything comes back to your own decisions. Everything comes back to your own willingness to do what it is that you need to do to graduate to that new level. So my husband and I talk about willingness a lot. We talk about willingness a lot because whenever you're stepping into the unknown, meaning like you're doing something you've never done before, you're graduating to a new level of life, like you're starting a new chapter, you're gonna feel fear, right? Because you're going into the unknown. You're gonna feel a level of fear. And the mind is gonna go on overdrive with the stories as to why it is scary, why you should not do it. It's gonna come up with the most elaborate things, right? So our natural default counter to that is to try to prepare ourselves by doing the inner work to not be afraid of the new level. Who's with me? But you can't plan for the growth you're going to experience. You can't inner work the growth that you haven't done yet. You have to be willing to step into that new level of energy, that new level of life, and then do the growth work that it's going to ask of you. You can't plan for it. And a lot of times we try to, right? We're like, I've got to get over my fear of being seen. You know how you do that? You go out and be seen. And then you deal with the growth that it throws at you. You feel me on that? I've got to get over my fear of speaking up. You know how you do that? You start speaking up. And then you do the inner work that it arises in you. It's not about, can I inner work my way in order to be ready for the growth so that it doesn't feel like growth? You can't do that. You have to just go. You have to go and you have to say, I'm willing to feel that discomfort. I'm willing to take on that new set of challenges. I'm willing to do that new level of growth because if I don't do that, I'm just going to stay stuck in that tumultuous wave, repeating the same thing over and over and over again. And stagnation and looping is not supported by the universe. Growth and expansion is supported. You've got to get in flow with growth and expansion. So when you start to do this looping situation, which we're all guilty of, by the way, everyone on this planet has done it in some way. But when you do that looping situation, what happens is that life starts closing in on you. And then that loop that felt so comfortable to stay in starts getting more and more and more uncomfortable. And it is so that you will be willing to go to the new level of growth, the new level of graduation, the new level of life where you're going to experience a whole different set of challenges because that's the point. But we get, can I handle it? Can I do it? I don't know. Of course you can. You chose it. Your soul chose it. Okay, Amber said, I think that I keep circulating around the big changes and chipping off the outside lessons, the easy ones, whatever easy means. I see what you're saying. Kind of like pacifying yourself of like, oh, I know what the thing that I actually need to do is, but I'm just going to work on this little thing over here. And it's fine. But the thing that you actually need to do never goes away. It's how our whole like universal mechanism works. There's something that you know you need to do, and you know it. There's no second guessing it. You know it in your gut. There's something you need to do, and you've been putting it off, and you've been trying to sidestep it, and you've been trying to find a way to go to that new level without going straight through the discomfort of the thing you need to do. Like you've been trying to figure out a way to surf the wave without actually going on the way. We do it. We do it. So, oh, there was something else I wanted to say with that. What was it? The next step is always given to you. Oh, I wanted to tell you a story. That's what it was. We always know what to do. We do. We do. And I know that like, if you have set up a lifetime of not trusting yourself, that can seem a little out there, but we always know what to do. We always know. We always know what to do. It might be the tiniest little thing, like the tiniest little first step, but you know what to do. And this is why I love working with clients who have these really big visions that they want to bring into life, because it's just a series of steps and you always know what to do. It's never about, I don't know what to do. It's, I'm afraid to do what I know what to do. You feel me on that? And that's where the coaching comes in. That's where the building that inner strength inside of you has to be the first and foremost priority. Because as you build your inner strength to say, no matter what it is, I can handle it, then you become unstoppable. You can do anything. Doesn't mean you won't feel fear, but you're okay with fear. Does that make sense? Like, you're okay. I'm going to be uncomfortable and I'm okay with it because I know that that's the way. I would much rather be uncomfortable stepping into the magic of the unknown than repeating the same BS over and over and over again. That's uncomfortable, right? And I've been there. I understand it. I know it. It's not the way. So you always know what to do. You just might be thinking that what to do doesn't seem like it would create that, or you're afraid of what the action is that you know to do. You know what I mean? I think about this morning show. I argued with the divine about it. I was like, what? Live every morning? What? No. And the divine was like, yes. This is what you will do, right? And so, after a while, especially the more and more you build that inner connection to your higher divine voice, the less you are capable of going against it. The less that your ego has a fight. You know what I mean? So, and then in another way that this shows up, and I remember this back before I met my most incredible man in the whole world, whenever I would be in relationships, I would know that it wasn't the relationship. Like, I knew I am not going to be in this forever. I think I knew the day that I started the relationship, I'm not going to be in this forever, right? But there would be a time when, like, the timeline was closing. So, my belief system, everything has a timeline. Relationships have a timeline, projects have a timeline, careers have a timeline, everything has a sacred timeline. And we don't know exactly how long that timeline is. Could be lifetimes, could be years, could be months. We don't know. But everything has a timeline. And when that timeline is coming to a close, because you need to wrap it up to be ready for the next timeline, it starts to get really loud and uncomfortable. So when something is meant to end, it starts to get loud and uncomfortable. And so in my past relationships, I would hear it. I would hear my own voice ending the relationship constantly in my head. Like, I would wake up, beautiful night's sleep, wake up, and I would hear myself having the conversation ending the relationship. Now, I'm a stubborn human. So this would go on for months before I ever did anything about it. And I know what I know for a reason. Life would get more and more and more uncomfortable because I wasn't listening to the voice. Do you see what I'm saying? And obviously, the relationships ended. But look at what it made room for. So, even in the most uncomfortable situations where we don't do it because we're afraid of facing that feeling, it always comes down to a feeling. We're afraid of facing that feeling. But if you say, I am someone who can handle whatever I feel, I am someone who has the emotional capacity to feel and be okay. Now that those are simple words for a really big process because most of us have stunted our emotional capacity around the age of 4 years old. The first time that we were told stop crying, stop doing that, stop whatever, was the first time that we stunted our muscle to be able to feel. Do you feel me on that? And that's a big conversation. We talk about it inside the the emotional section of the spiritual coach training program. We go in depth into emotional capacity. But most of us are walking around with the emotional capacity of a 4-year-old, unable to feel, unable to handle feeling, and we try to sabotage it and we try to get rid of it because it's too much because you never built the muscle to handle emotion. Does that make sense? So we're avoiding doing the thing that we know we need to do because we're afraid of how we're going to feel. But once you do the thing that you know you need to do, it opens up a whole new level of life, a whole new level of life. And your only task in that is to say, I can feel what I need to feel. And it's uncomfortable and nobody likes it, but you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. I remember the guy I dated right before Robert, when we broke up, very healthy breakup, amicable. We decided it, done, moving on. Still sad though, right? And I remember intentionally deciding to allow myself to feel whatever I was going to feel, like to not suppress it. If I needed to cry, like if that wave of emotion came through and I needed to cry, I didn't stifle it. I just let myself cry. And it was the most fascinating, incredible experience because when you allow yourself to fully feel what's coming up for you, it only lasts maybe 90 seconds, like maybe 90 seconds. It comes in these waves. So a lot of times I think we avoid feeling because we're afraid we're going to be stuck there, but you won't. Emotion is energy waves. Just like we were talking about, was it just yesterday we were talking about anger and frustration? It's just a wave. You're not going to be there forever. But if you press it down, you are going to prolong it. So my experience that happened was whenever I needed to cry, I cried. And there was no trying to fix the emotion by calling the ex or, drinking too much or anything like that. I just allowed the feeling. And simultaneously, I allowed myself to feel the excitement of the newness. Who would be, the person that I would meet next? And in particular, I remember I took a nap, and in that sort of half asleep, half awake state, where you kind of have premonitions about life, at least I do. Um, I could feel someone. I could feel someone. And I got so excited about it. And it's so cool looking back, now having met Robert and seeing how the energetic signatures were matching from that vision I had while taking a nap to now being with him here and now. So, point being, because I allowed myself to feel and I didn't make it wrong, did the thing that I knew I needed to do, allowed myself to feel the feelings that I needed to feel, those emotions around the breakup, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, allowing all of that emotional energy to process out as it needed to process out, I was able to move past all of that feeling. Took me 2 weeks. Tell me that the power of emotions isn't incredibly powerful. Like, it was a game, as you can see, it was a game changing understanding for me that if we allow ourselves to feel, you're going to move through it quickly. Now, I'm going to say this and then we're going to wrap because we've really covered the whole gamut here. For my mamas out there, be mindful of soothing your children when they're crying. Be mindful of telling them that they need to stop how they're feeling. Be mindful of it because we are the ones in healing ourselves that are going to raise a generation to think, feel, and act differently. Amen. So, in example, there was one time where Violet really wanted hot chocolate. This child has such a sweet tooth. It's crazy. She really wanted hot chocolate. But we were out. I think we went to a neighbor's house for a party. And then by the time we got home, it was like 9 o'clock. They need to go to bed. You don't need to be drinking hot chocolate and then trying to go to sleep, right? And so we tell her. She's so disappointed. Instead of trying to soothe her, saying like, it's okay, like, we'll have you hot chocolate tomorrow, like, it's okay, like, shh. Instead of that, we allowed her to fully feel the disappointment, fully cry. And what we said to her, we're not like, whatever, get away from me. No, what we said to her was, it's okay to be disappointed. It's okay. I know you're disappointed. It's okay to feel that. Feel it. Cry. Because we want them to not shy away from feeling, but we also want them to know that the way that they process that feeling is going to be the absolute, what's the word I'm looking for here? Processing feeling. Ooh. Okay, I'm just going to say it. Being able to process a feeling is the key to having a successful life. I'm just going to say it. Being able to process your feelings is the key to having a successful life. Because how much do we react and make decisions because of an emotion? We're not going to get all into it today. Okay. I love you guys. Your takeaways, ownership. What do you need to take ownership for? What are you blaming? And also, what are your gifts? What are you here to do? What are you really effing good at that you need to own and claim it? Stake your claim of what you're good at and what you're here to do. Own it. Own it, own it, own it. That is your key. And then I am willing to graduate to this new level of growth. I'm willing to leave behind these small potato problems that I have been looping in and step into a new set of challenges, a new set of joys, a new set of growth. I am willing to step into it. Is it going to be uncomfortable? Hell yes, it is. Okay. Be good with it. Be good with it because it's only going to get more uncomfortable staying in the exact same, getting hit by the wave over and over and over again. Go through the wave, graduate to that new level of growth, become that next level version of yourself, take on the new challenges, process and do the inner work at that level so that you can experience the life and the wholeness of what it's meant to be. Amen and the hallelujahs. Okay. I love you so much. Oh. Was it yesterday that I talked about the Frequency of You workshop? The Frequency of You workshop has expanded. There are now going to be 6 workshops. I'm really hype about this because I was feeling all of these feelings with this workshop where I was like, there's something missing, there's something off. And I realized because I originally was going to teach you how to do this work and apply it to whatever you got going on. But what I realized is what we really need right now is very specific. Here's how and what to do in this area of your life, and we're going to do it together. So, the Frequency of You workshops are now expanded into 6 different workshops. We have your money identity workshop, your marriage and partnership story workshop, your career and success story workshop. We have your self confidence, your magic, your personal power workshop. And I'm missing one. What was it? Your family. Your family workshop. Was that 6? Anywho, so the link is in my bio on Instagram and YouTube. I will put it for you in the comments below. So here's the thing. You can join one workshop, whatever you're going through right now, that you want to do the energetic inner work behind it so that you can shift that reality. You're going to be in a workshop with me for 3 days. So I'm going to take you through this guided work of what to do and how to rewrite it so that we can get some new energy flowing in that area of your life. So you can join 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to do, or there is a link to join them all. So it's going to be 1 per month for the next 6 months. So like we're talking the back half of the year, which by the way, I don't know if you guys realize there's only 6 months left in the year. Like what is life right now? Actually, I think there's 7, but December doesn't really count. You know what I mean? So 6 workshops, 1 per month. The first one is going to start June 3rd. So check out all of the details for it. Think whatever you're facing right now, whatever situation's like top of mind for you, pick that workshop. If you can only do one, only do one. It will drastically shift your reality. It will change so much for you. And it's only 3 days. It's only like $200 for one workshop, or you can come into all 6. So that's that. I love you. I will see you here tomorrow, Thursday, for another episode of the morning show. Please share the show if this resonated with you today. Help our people out. We're going to share this message as much as we can. Okay. I love you. Goodbye, my loves. Goodbye.